Another show in Anjo is in the books, and we also have a superhuman, Taiji Ishimori. Got ridiculous one more time that we're going to recap for you. We've got World Tag League news. We've got Wrestle Kingdom matches made. There's no Stephen Conway this week. It's me, Jeremy Finestone, along with Paul Fontaine, and this is Speaking of Strong Style. Hello, everybody listening live and joining us later on. This is Speaking of Strong Style, and as the intro said, I'm Jeremy Finestone, and this is Paul Fontaine filling in for Stephen Conway, who told me where he was going, but I forgot. And I did make sure I got a host today. So, hi, Paul. How are you? How's your week been?
I'm good. Just trying to do Steve here. No, it's you know what? It's been an interesting week. I just had overall, interesting week, I'll say.
Well, I too have had an interesting week. I'm currently buying a car, and I don't usually do that until I absolutely have to. And it's been about 10 or 15 years, and hopefully another 10 or 15 years before I buy another car. And let me tell you, Paul, I don't enjoy the process whatsoever.
We always just, like, whenever I have needed a car in the past, we make plans to go out and look, and then we always end up getting the first one we look at. So it's like, and I used to get them quite often, but it's been a while now. So we've been lucky, I guess. I don't drive as much as I used to, so that's part of it. But we're probably going to be in the market in the next year or two for my wife.
Yeah, because it's gonna be like 10 or 15 years from now, my wife is like, we should really get ahead of the hybrid and the e-vehicle kind of thing. So I'm looking into all that, and the hybrid really is something that I'm like, okay, this is a pretty fantastic car. And I test drove two of them with the intention of going to a third dealership, and we got to the third dealership and they just ignored us for 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And we're just like, well, we're not going to get that car.
Yeah, no
so
kidding.
We're down to two. And usually in the past, I've been the first car I see, let's lock in. And there was a car I had in mind, but I made sure that I was going to drive at least one other car before I did it. I really do like it. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's the small talk that I have to offer here before.
Yeah, no, I just had something just like literally right before the show went on the air that happened that kind of jolted me, but I don't want to get into it. So
no worries.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that the sailing goes smooth with whatever that you have to do.
Yeah, I'll probably vent about it on social media in some form soon. Hopefully it rectifies itself before it comes to that. But
if you do want to hear more of what Paul has to talk about, we do chat regularly on a Discord with each other, and you can email gg@FightGameMedia if you ever want to hear what Paul has to say about AEW, in which he does a show called The Dynamite Show on Wednesday night with Jeff Hawkins that he recaps live reaction to the show, as well as the takedown that he recorded with our fearless leader, Garrett Gonzalez. Now, I believe you two talked about the Okada thing on that show. But I have to tell you, I have not heard it yet.
Okay.
And so whatever thoughts you have are going to be fresh for me.
Sure. And probably for a lot of listeners and viewers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So you are a man who wears many hats, and one of those hats is that you are an avid follower of New Japan Pro Wrestling. You are not typically able to keep up with it on the day-to-day, but you are making sure that you are catching up with it by end of the week or something like that, which is pretty much how most people do. You know,
yeah, I mean, occasionally I'm up to date. It's just like when we get into these tournaments sometimes, but when it's like when they're on their regular schedule of, maybe like 2 or 3 shows a week they're on World, I'm usually seeing them within 24 hours. Oh, sure. Like never live, but I try to see them, within
the glut of Western wrestling though that just throws on our lap. Sometimes just like, okay, I need to figure out how I'm going to watch this show and exactly how I'm going to stay current with it. But it is on my priority list. So
absolutely, yeah. And the New Japan app makes it pretty easy to do that. Like, I'll use the match menus, and sometimes I'll skip matches that I don't think are going to be terribly interesting, but I try to watch most of them. And then, and you can tell, like, if there's time left at the end, that usually means there's an angle. So I'll watch it till the end. But if there's like the match is over and there's like 90 seconds left, okay, I can skip to the next one.
Yeah, you're like, okay, we're just walking to the back.
Yeah.
We got this.
Yeah.
We got this.
Yeah.
So we had a couple of shows. One show that we both watched, and then another show that unfortunately neither of us decided we were going to pay the $22 in American that it was going to take to watch Taiji Ishimori. God bless the man. I like Taiji Ishimori. But again, I'm buying a car, guys.
Yeah, I mean, as much as you like somebody, like, do you really need to see them have like 12 matches?
And so I thought it would be way more interesting to get your reaction as I read the recap of what New Japan posted for the show, because honestly, we're all going to find out together what this show is all
Sure,
about.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So let's get started here. Here we go. We started in Anjo with the Young Lions match, and this was a standard Young Lions match. There wasn't anything other to it other than these guys just kind of showing off what they got, and I was pretty happy with it. I actually had notes for it, and I lost this one, and in the middle of me talking about it, I realized I don't have the names of these guys, and so I can find the results for that right now. There we go. Yeah, it was Yasuda and Taichi and Zanjay and Shomikata. So this match actually didn't happen, and this match did.
So, sorry, what were you saying? What were you saying? Which match?
This first match.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to make sure what happened.
The match you just said, I think it was second.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah.
The results are all mixed up.
Gotcha. Yeah, but like that first match, the Matsumoto and Morishima, is this the first time Matsumoto's wrestled in a while? Because I don't remember seeing him like recently, and he looked a lot bigger.
Yeah, he looked bigger and he looked jacked.
Jacked and just like bulky,
thick.
Thick. That's a good word. Like I don't want to say he's fat because he's not, but
no,
that's his. He's definitely
that's the way they want him to look. Like
there are guys that be a heavyweight.
Look better just being the big barrel chested kind of like you run into me and you're gonna fall down. They need guys
kind of like a Shingo, but like bigger.
Yeah,
but that same kind of build.
Like he's built almost like Hartley Jackson would be if he were younger.
Yes. Yeah, that's very good. So that's what stood out to me. And then just I was like, oh geez, I haven't seen him in a while. And I love these young boy matches. Like I really get into them and often give, I rate every match I watch. And like I often give these matches higher ratings than a lot of the main card matches because I just really get into the story.
They're trying. Like there's literally an audition every night.
Yep.
Like to define where they're going. I hate to use like a Harry Potter reference, but it's like the Sorting Hat in Hogwarts, where like you figure out what house you're gonna end up being in. Like the way these guys wrestle really does define the future that they're going to have.
Absolutely, company. Yeah. And if I'm looking at a card and I don't have time to watch a whole card and I'm picking what I'm gonna watch, I will invariably always watch the Young Lions singles matches. And then I will watch a title match and I will watch any singles match on the main card. Those are my priorities. So, if it's a mixed, if it's a 6-man, 8-man, 10-man, I'll usually skip those if I'm short of time. I did watch this whole show though. And so this, there's no way I was skipping Morishima and Matsumoto because I'm a New Japan sicko.
Yeah, you are. That's why you're my go-to to get on the show from time to time.
Yeah,
if I can have this conversation with you and not worry that you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and we talk to a lot of the same people and
absolutely,
stuff. So.
Absolutely. All right, so this match, Taichi and Masatori Yasuda versus Zanjay and Shomikata. Taichi starts the match with the hype man at first, and then Zanjay elbows Taichi off the apron, and Yasuda kicks Kato off the ring. Taichi then tags in and proceeds to beat the living hell out of Zanjay. It was honestly pretty amusing. He was not up for these kids giving him the crap. Kicking him over and over and over again while in a half crab. Kato and Yasuda tag in. Kato got the heat. Taichi then came in with the babyface fire. Taichi and Jay went at it again. Jay got a little bit of heat, but Taichi was selling it like the dude was hitting him with sticks when he's used to being hit with baseball bats. So, yeah, that went a little longer than it needed to, but you'll be shocked to hear that Taichi finished off Zane Jay with a backdrop in this one.
Yeah, Zane Jay is another one that is putting on some size, growing his hair out, so he's probably getting close. So him and Kato like are two of my favorites of the Young Lions. So
yeah,
to see them teaming was cool. Obviously, Taichi's in there, so he's going to get the pin, and Jay was likely going to be the guy who's going to beat because Kato has had a few main card matches already. So yeah, I quite enjoyed this. For me, it didn't overstay my welcome, but I can definitely see how some people might think.
Yeah, I was like, okay, Taichi, you're kind of beating the crap out of this guy a little bit. Let's take it. You've made your point.
Actually, like I'll say, like right now, like there wasn't a bad match on the show.
No.
There was a couple that could have been better, but we had very little of the nonsense.
It was an important show.
Yeah. And then of course we got the huge angle in the main event. So so for me, like I was pretty into everything.
Do you we have talked on this show that Masatori Yasuda might be the next Tiger Mask. Do you see that at all?
You know what? To be honest, I'd never really thought of it. It's possible, I suppose. Like, he's
like you just see that picture of him off to the right. You see that Tiger Mask on him, like, yeah, I actually could kind of see that. I could kind of
yeah. I mean, like I said, I never thought of it, but I mean, it's kind of funny because when you go back and look at, like the current people now and go back and look at them when they were young lions, like they often look nothing like what they look like. So it's hard for me to like imagine that. There's a few people over the years that I could tell right away, like, okay, this guy's going to be a big deal. And Yota Tsuji was one, like literally like from the first match. I remember texting Dave and telling him, keep an eye on this guy. Like, and there, and there's been a few others over the
you and him wanted him to be belted over Sonata like right away.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Around like when Sonata won the belt like 2 years ago.
Yeah, Sonata was the champion and Yota came back and they had the Dominion match. And I remember you and him were both advocating pretty hard, like, just put the belt on this dude.
Well, do you remember during the pandemic, and when they were doing those strong shows, and they had Yota Tsuji doing those comedy commercials already. And this is when he was still a young lion, and they were, like they don't do that with young lions. Yeah, he had the personality, he had the look. I mean, his look is completely different now, but he had a great look even as a young lion, like once he grew his hair out. So yeah, and that guy that died a few years ago, the bodybuilder guy, that was another one that I always forget his name, but
I know who you're talking about.
He's another one that I right off the bat, I saw, right. and with that, like Shoma Kato and is another one, and again with Yasuda, like he's solid. I've just never really given a ton of thought, but now that you mention it, I'll definitely keep an eye because obviously they're going to probably need another Tiger Mask.
And I think if they get a young guy in 2026 or 2027 that puts on that mask and is legitimately athletic and can be like an upper mid-card top level act for the company, it's going to do really well for New Japan.
Oh yeah, and that's like that'll set him up for like the next 15 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So after this match in the backstage comment, Taichi talked about Ishii backstage and the fact that Ishii got injured and was going to be his partner for World Tag League. And then the turn of fate that he now has Satoshi Kojima as his partner. And they have a history, a very long history. So it kind of, they're playing into that. But Taichi is now a babyface. And he kind of went in on Kojima in the backstage comments where he was talking about the fact that Kojima was complaining about not getting an invite for it. And then now he's just kind of an alternate. And he's like, get over yourself. If you think that that's the case, we're not going to win any matches. And bro, like, we better win some matches. So get off your ass and be the Kojima that you used to be. And I'm just like, damn, dude. That is a different Taichi than the ones that we are used to from the last, like, 10 years. This dude is the old dad of New Japan, and he's there to just set people straight. And you watch that match that he just had, and you're just like, okay, this is his role now. He's just the old dude Taichi just coming in and walloping ass. And There's a couple guys like that. Goto, Ishii, Taichi. They're probably going to have that role for some years to come.
Yoshihashi
as well. All right, next match. We went on that one for a little while. Tiger Mask, Conman, Bolton Oleg versus Jacob Young, Callum Newman, and the Great O'Khan. Main takeaway from this match is that Newman is really trying to build up the heel persona.
Yes.
Everyone mainly did their stuff, but the finish had Newman pin Hanma and then lay in punches and elbows while Hanma was still down. This is a slow burn angle. Newman is not someone that they are going to have a whole lot of importance going into Wrestle Kingdom, but I think coming out of Wrestle Kingdom on the other side, coming out of 2026, he's going to have an important role to play in New Japan. What did you think about this?
Yeah, I had the exact same thought as you. This has been building for a while, and it's weird because I don't know what's exactly going on with the United Empire. Like, are they all going to turn heel? Is it just, are they going to splinter off? Like, obviously, I feel like Great O'Khan is part of that. Callum Newman, obviously. I'm not sure where Zach and Oiwa stand. Hartley could go either way. So, it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. But if Gabe Kidd is leaving, like a lot of people think he does, then that's probably where, or Finley too, would be where you would need a guy like Callum Newman. And obviously they think a lot of him because, he got a world title shot earlier this year. And he's, he's clearly way better than his experience and his years.
Right. He did his backstage comments, and he had access to grind about all the old members of the United Empire that said they were his brothers and where are they now, and you guys aren't worth crap, and he's going to rebuild it in his image. Okay. So he's made these declarations. These are not empty declarations to me, but he still has a ways to go. He's kind of in that David Finlay before he became a Bullet Club War Dog leader, where he was just kind of a guy, and he's had a couple of wins there that like, oh, that puts his name on the map, but nothing definitive.
It's funny you say him because I was thinking Jay White.
But, well, yeah, it's like the same thing. It's like they elevate into this role, and you grow into it. And I think he's in a position where that opportunity needs to present itself, and hopefully he'll be able to step up when it happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, all right. What do we got next? Okay, we got Geto, Ishimori, and Shingo versus Doki, Sho, and Yujiro Takahashi. So, my first thought about this match was Geto got his ass kicked so badly that he turned heel again. Thrown into the ring post, crotch first, and he couldn't stand being good anymore. Other than that, he eventually tagged in Shingo for the fire. It was a pretty good match. Finish had Ishimori giving Sho the bloody cross, and then I managed to get all the translation for everything that happened in the backstage, for everything that happened on the show. So I'm gonna run this down for you. Ishimori gets on the microphone, and he says he demands his rematch that he never got. Desperado then comes out and says, "Bro, you stole my belt and your matches suck." Vegito also thinks that your matches suck. And since you have unfinished business with all of us, how about it? Doki calls them all morons, and he runs away. And then in the backstage comments, he's laying there with Sho, and he's like, all right, I'm the king of juniors, but you can have your little contenders match, but you got to throw Sho in there as well. So that's how we get to this 4-way match that we're going to have at Wrestle Kingdom, in which we have a contenders match for the junior heavyweight title, but we don't actually have a junior heavyweight title match yet.
Well,
it's how you get there, I guess. Or
the
destination.
That's certainly one way to go. You could have just had somebody win the tournament. You got to make it difficult. Yeah, the match was fine. There was very little House of Torture nonsense, so I was cool with that. And as you can maybe tell, I don't generally watch those backstage interviews, so I do appreciate your recaps of them.
This one was important because of it was completely in Japanese. The entire show was just, you watch it and you just see these guys jaw jacking, and I can understand the body language of what's going on there, but I don't know the words that they're saying. So, you kind of have to go back and wait a day or two.
I missed.
For the
This
English
is where
to
we
get in
missed.
there, and
we missed Charlton here.
That there is my job.
Yeah, but and it was weird seeing Shingo teaming with Ishimori and Geto, but that's that's the unaffiliated and the War Dogs.
It is getting easier for me to accept the more that I see it.
Yeah, no, I know. It's not that I don't have a problem with it. It's just
weird,
very weird. Yeah. And whenever these combos come out, it's like, oh, there's Yoda Tsuji. Oh, there's Finley. I'm like, what?
That weirdness is slowly de-escalating though, like at a rate that I'm actually kind of surprised by.
Which again, the very next match, we got the same thing. So
right, all right, let's get to that one.
Yeah.
All right, we got Taguchi, Shota Umino, and Yuya Uemura versus Oscar, Daiki Nagai, and Yoda Tsuji. Match starts total comedy with Taguchi wanting none of that smoke from Oscar. And then it ended up being kind of standard match with Nagai using Young Lion moves on Yuya. That went about as well as you'd expect, as Yuya tapped him out with a chicken wing arm lock within a minute after Nagai tried to apply this near main eventer with Young Lion moves. After the match, did you watch any of the post-match stuff?
Oh yeah, like with
Oscar leaping the barricade,
chasing Taguchi around. Yeah, and Taguchi holding his butt and running. I do. Like, I will watch because I saw. Oh yeah, there's like 4 minutes.
I was blown away by how easy Oscar hurdled that barricade. He's a size thing from like that far angle, and they did it from the top of the bird's nest, and so that you can see the whole arena. And he does that sprint from out the ring because he's just done with Taguchi. And he does a sprint, and then he comes back to the ring, and then they go back to Taguchi chasing him out. But in the meantime of all this is happening, you've got Yoda Tsuji in the ring, and he's holding that global title, and he's shining it right in front of Yuya and Shota, and they're just sitting there going, "You motherfucker. We wanted that spot against Takeshita, and you took it." So that's what their backstage comments were about. Like, their simple jealousy of the fact that Yoda got that spot and what they have to do to get that. Shota was a little more, I'm gonna make an impact in a kind of concerning sort of way, and Yuya was more babyface. I'm gonna earn my way towards the thing. What did you think about the match?
I enjoyed it. I kind of had the same feeling that Brad had with his comment there about Nagai. Like, I really like him. He's got that babyface fire that he shows, even though we know why he's there and we know what's going to happen, but you just kind of root for the guy and keep hoping that he's going to get that big win at some point. I was looking at this and just kind of thinking about what's going to happen in the tag league, and I expect Umino and Uemura to, at the very least, make it to the finals of their block, but possibly, or to the finals of the tournament, and then possibly even win it. Because I think them against Oscar and Yudo should be the Wrestle Kingdom match. I don't know if you've heard different or if you're thinking different. Or we're going to talk about the Wrestle Kingdom matches later, but I actually thought these guys were going to beat the Knockout Brothers for the titles, and then the Knockout Brothers would win the tournament and then get the titles back at Wrestle Kingdom. That's kind of how I thought it would happen. But
I'm in the sense of they need to establish the tag team division again, and having these guys just go on a run undefeated for a considerable amount of time.
Knockout Brothers, you mean?
Yes, the Knockout Brothers. I'm talking through next Wrestle Kingdom. Sure. They hold it for 13 or 14 months. What I was wondering that they might do, because the show's going to be on TV Asahi. I'm getting the sense that it's not going to be a 10-match card, but more like a 7, 8, 9-match card. And so people are going to, unless you are able to fit these people in there, you're not going to get everyone on the card. So Shota and Yuya and Zack Sabre Jr. and Ryohei Oiwa are all kind of guys that right now they don't have a plan. and they're all in this World Tag League. And I was kind of wondering if they were going to do like some type of 4-way elimination match.
Oh, okay.
Where they have Bishamon, and they have Shota and Yuya, and they have Zack Sabre Jr. and Ryo Heiwa, and the Knockout Brothers. And maybe one of these teams eliminate the other, but the Knockout Brothers end up at the top of the chain after all of these other very established, very main event teams all fell by the wayside in a 4-way.
And then you can do rematches with all
and
three
you can
of those.
do rematches, and you can do all these things. But I'm just trying to figure out how they're going to get all these people on the card. And they've already done the 4-way for the contenders. And like, who's Doki going to wrestle? I think it's probably Hiromu at this point.
Well, you've also got the what is it called? The Rochambeau or whatever? No, that's
the Rambo.
The Rambo, yeah. So I mean, a lot of the people are going to be in that, and they've had bigger names in that thing in recent years.
Sure.
So,
but like, that's Great Okan and Yoshihashi if Yoshihashi's not in like the tag match.
Yeah, you're not putting Zack Sabre in that.
But you still have guys like David Finlay. Are you going to put Gabe Kinnan on the show? Hiromu had a match with Naito last year near the top of the card, and you don't even have him on the show yet. So I'm kind of thinking, because he had that GHC junior heavyweight title, that they're running that around, because Hiromu's kind of been chirping. He's kind of been one of those guys that's been like the squeaky wheel gets the grease, not real, not happy all the time.
Ever since Naito left, like, he's barely a factor.
Yeah, he's just there. He's doing his thing. And I think one of the things that they're going to do to make him happy is put him in a prime spot at Wrestle Kingdom. And with all those other guys kind of shunted off to I'm next, who's now?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I'm thinking that. And so you don't have Finlay, you don't have Kidd, you don't have any of these guys, but potentially if you have 8 of these guys in an elimination match, it's something. It's an idea. I don't think they're doing that, but like, right? Like they have five matches, and they're probably going to have 2 or 3 more announced.
Yeah.
The tag match, the junior heavyweight match, and maybe a special singles match. Are we going to get Jake Lee back to fight David Finlay? God, I don't know.
It's thrilling.
All right. We went off on the tangent there, but we are back. We are back with this isn't the next match. There was Bishamon and Desperado versus Oiwa, Jackson and Zack Sabre Jr. This was a fun, solid match.
Yep.
Highlight for me was Oiwa and Desperado wrestling for a bit. They had been in the ring together for like 8 months, and for whatever reason, I really like that combination. I think Desperado is works really well with a bunch of different styles. And while he's done a lot with Zack Sabre Jr. in the past, I really like those two together. Hartley Jackson with the sacrificial lamb to Bishamon Shoto. And what do you got?
I loved seeing Zack and Oiwa teaming again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, weren't they in the tag league last year?
Yeah.
And to me, they stole the show. Like, they had like probably like half of the best matches in that tournament. Like, they're a great team. Like,
they are,
the great mix of styles. And Oiwa may be one of the most underrated guys in the whole roster. Like, everyone talks about other people, but he could be a guy that comes up and like 5 years from now, where, it'd be like, oh my God, we were sleeping on that guy. And Jackson is maybe the most improved guy in all of wrestling this year. Like, he went from being like, I thought he was just like a comedy manager, like, and now he's like a solid big man, he's filling that role that Foley had for years, except he's like way better.
He's been all around Japan and Australia for years, and they finally just kind of kicked the tires on him, and he's really good.
That series with Bolton, like, they were like on and off feuding for like 3 or 4 months this year, and I mean, he leveled up after that, or during that. He
was either a tremendous actor coming out of this match, or he was hurting real bad, because he had that like glassy-eyed look, and both of the young lions like carrying him out, and he just looked like his back had given out, and I was just like, oh man, I hope you're feeling all right. Thankfully, he's not in World Tag League, so he's got plenty of opportunity to heal up if that's the case.
Good.
But
probably not a big role in Wrestle Kingdom either. If he's lucky, he'll be in the Rambo.
Yeah, like seconding TMDK. Yeah. I could see him being out there for Fujita or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. All right. Then we got the Never Openweight Six-Man title match, which was Togo Kanemaru and Evil versus Yo, Wato, and Toriano, accompanied by Aaron Wolf.
Yeah. I had no idea. And I'm like, what? Who is that guy? He's like, I thought it was Walker Stewart at first. It's like, it's weird because he's probably like 10 years older than Walker. But
I looked at him and I saw some photos of him in his like judoka gear a little while back, and he's definitely gained a little bit of mass. And the Young Lion gear that he wears, the gym shorts and the t-shirt, do not convey a sense of terror.
He looks like a podcast host. Like,
yeah, he looks like he's waiting in line to get an autograph.
Yeah, or McDonald's. I'm not trying to make comment about his weight. I'm just, because
he's not. He doesn't look ring ready, and he doesn't look barrel chested like Yasuda.
No, but he was wearing a sweatshirt too, so for all we know, he could be jacked under there. But
yeah,
it just didn't look.
I'm waiting for that moment where we're all just like, "Oh damn," and I hope it comes.
Well, there was one time I saw him and I was like super impressed. I can't remember when it was, but there's one time when it was when they set up the Evil match. I think like he just kind of whooped ass, and I was like, okay, that works. But every other time it hasn't. So I'm hoping we get that guy in the dome, because that is like one of the most important New Japan matches in years.
It is absolutely. Yeah. I was advocating to Conway last week that they need to put a pair of sunglasses on him, because the way he communicates with his eyes just doesn't quite work. So I feel like if you put like something cool like sunglasses, just get that image of like I'm a beast and you don't see the eyes, it may work better. Kind of like a Chono thing.
Probably gonna need a manager too.
Yeah, he's gonna need a couple of things.
Yeah.
But this match, typical ass beating by House of Torture.
Yep.
On Wato, upper hand until Evil gets a chair and is about to wall up Wato with it, and Aaron jumps in there, takes the bullet, takes the chair on the back, and then rolls out of the ring. Joe and Wato get the upper hand. They lock the Vendaval in on Togo, and Wolf is in the ring celebrating with the champs.
Yeah,
it's like you're booking for Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, absolutely. So I assume Wolf, at least at first, will be part of that. I always forget the name of that group. What did they call them?
Hontai?
Yeah. Hontai?
Yeah. HONTAI.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it looks like he's part of that for now, but I don't imagine that is going to be terribly long term. This was obviously there to build Aaron Wolf and Evil. I mean, it's funny because when I was first started watching the match, I'm just kind of like watching the match, and I'm kind of like just zoned in on the match and not really thinking about anything else. So then when I noticed Wolf out there, I was like, first off, is that Wolf? And then of course it's Wolf. Yeah. And then it's like, then it dawned on me, okay, that's why they're doing this match, because they're building to the thing. And we'll talk about what we think is going to happen when we preview Wrestle Kingdom. But I mean, this was just your standard build, and those 6-man belts, I mean, they're nothing, but they're a prop, they're a total prop.
They're not going to be on Wrestle Kingdom. They haven't been on Wrestle Kingdom in years.
They'll be on
New Year Dash,
the Raw app. New Year's Dash. Yeah. And that's fine. They're a match you can headline a house show with, and stuff like that. So, which is kind of what this was.
One of the things I noticed after this match was the amount of baby faces that do the handshake and fist bump as their way of like, we're good guys and we're all friends with each other. I think I saw it like 15 times between baby faces as they're going into the going back out of the curtain, like, yeah, man, we're friends. Boom, yeah. So that's the universal code for that one. Backstage comments for this one had Evil complaining that Aaron Wolf ruined a noble and fair wrestling contest, and that he will hold that against him for quite some time. Evil is fantastic. You just have to figure out why he's fantastic. I love this dude so much, and I know that
I know you do.
There are other people that just like don't get it, and maybe I'm the one that doesn't get it, and everyone else is right. But it's okay if I'm wrong in this case.
No, I like I said, I think he's a fine wrestler. I don't think he's as great as some people say he is, but then again, that's not his role either. So, I fully admit that I may not be seeing the forest for the trees.
Did you I know that it's been mentioned in you listen to Wrestling River Radio. I think Dave mentioned it, but he's training Aaron Wolf behind the scenes.
I think I knew that. I think I may have heard it from Filthy Tom, but and that makes sense. I mean,
so yeah, he's
this match is going to be good.
The
match is going to be good. There's no question about that.
Yeah, you got to imagine the way that NXT rehearses their matches. There's going to be a lot of we're going to hit these spots and we're going to do it in this order and we're going to run it a couple of times.
Evil's been doing this long enough. He knows what the reaction to everything is going to be. So, there's not going to be any surprises. As long as Wolf can execute whatever he's got to do, and I'm sure it's not going to be terribly complicated, they'll be fine.
Before we get to the main event, I'm going to hit a couple of these comments real quick. USVA guy showing up saying, let's have fun talking about our favorite person in the universe, Mr. Tony Khan. Oh, we'll get there at some point, hopefully, maybe. Brad, who's checked in a couple of times, has been away for a while. He is back. Hello, Brad. Glad to see you. We get to the World Tag League. War Hero 99 is suggesting HBK and Triple H should join the tournament since there's some other old folks in there. And then Brad pointing out the 4-way at Wrestle Kingdom is so weird. Why not do this on a prior show and have the title match at Wrestle Kingdom? Junior tabs aren't being defended either. We talked about that a little bit earlier, about 5 minutes earlier in the show. So if you missed that, you can come back there. And then we got let's get here. Come on. There we go. They need to do something with Nagai already. He's moved up the card, but still treated as a lion. This is a big issue with New Japan Pro Wrestling. They have a half a dozen lions and they need to start pushing them. I agree, but I do think that 2026 is going to be the year where they are putting away the past. They are actively focusing on the future. Arguably, they should have been doing it concurrently with Tanahashi retiring, but they decided to put a ton of focus, almost too much focus on Tanahashi and closing this generational era and making a clean break before really launching into the next one. And I'm not sure that was the greatest idea, but we're here. This is what's happening. And I think one of the guys that is really going to get maybe the Kosei Fujita treatment for the last couple of years is probably going to be Nagai next in the junior heavyweight division, because he does seem to have a lot of talent. He picks it up really well. And when Fujita is elevated to that next level as one of the stalwarts of the division, they're going to need a younger guy on the up and up to be there. And he feels like he's one of those guys.
Yeah. I think I gave my thoughts on him earlier, so I can't really argue with anything you said.
Yeah. Brad is validating me. He likes Evil's work, but he does hate the House of Torture Bull BS. I think that's fair. It's running a little long in the tooth for me right now, too, because it's been about 5 months and they're on 3 matches a show. We're averaging, kind of feels like, that's a lot of heel work for.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the most recent incarnation, but I mean, it feels like this has been going on for 5 years.
It does, but it's incredibly heavy-handed in the last 2 years, where it's just like all of a sudden they're in every never open weight 6-man match for the last some iteration of them versus some iteration of Hontai.
And they ruin every tournament they're in. I mean, not the whole tournament, but the matches.
They're fun wreckers.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The opposite of bangers.
We got the last match of the night. We got Tanahashi and Yuto Ice. This was a fun match, but all I need to do to sum this up is it was a mean guy match in which Yuto Ice was trying to be the meanest guy on the block and beat Tanahashi. And Tanahashi basically had to dig deep and fight hard to be the mean guy back. And they had kind of a more aggressive fight that you would expect out of Tanahashi coming out of, 60 days left of this guy's career. But he brought it. Yuto Ice was especially enthusiastic about having this match with Tanahashi before he retired. And it helped it a ton. The finish was a high fly flow, followed by an ace high, followed by another high fly flow. And then Tanahashi got the win. Backstage, Yuto Ice was gleaming in the backstage comments. Total babyface promo about how he got a chance to wrestle. He waited 15 years for this. Totally broke character. But he's a quasi babyface with the alignment right now, so I guess it's okay. But for all intents and purposes, this was a bucket list match for him. Mm-hmm. I think that it put him on the map in a way that he was able to have a match with Tanahashi and it be an upper caliber match. And it was a net positive for all people involved. What did you think?
So I thought it was the best match on the show, although there wasn't really anything, that was, really even had a chance to be better than this. In terms of like the Tanahashi singles matches that he's had recently, I think most of them have been better, but again, I'm not sure that this was designed, it was what it was supposed to be. I guess is a way to put it. I do think that Yuto Ice, there was something different with him. And it may be just the moment of being in that big match with Tanahashi where he just didn't have, there was like something about his attitude, that just was not quite as sharp and biting as it normally is. Mm-hmm. It was more about the match as opposed to trying to get his character over.
He wanted to show he was tough rather than like a bastard.
Yeah. So like, I really I got to go back to I was just looking at the matches and I'm probably going back to the Great Okan match that Tanahashi had in September, but mm-hmm. to get everything since then has been better. But Tanahashi's, has a great run. This is there's not a chance in hell I'd have expected Tanahashi to have the quality matches that he's had this year. Especially when you look at his last few years, and I told you, I keep track of all my matches. He's by far had the most matches of anybody that I've watched in 2025. I think it's 65 matches, and a decent portion of those have been singles matches, and most of them have been long. And this guy's 49 with 89-year-old knees, and and he's still doing these matches. I'm just amazed. And
I don't think he's stopping it before January 4th. I think he's full steam ahead.
Well, yeah, I don't think this might be his last singles match, right? Is he going to have any more? Well, I guess he had one a couple days later, so
I would not be shocked if he wants to knock out a couple of singles matches during the World Tag.
Okay, well, there's still probably a few people he hasn't faced, right? And he promised to face everyone on the roster.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so because he's got how many matches in the tag league? 7.
I don't think he's in the World Tag League, is he?
Oh, I thought he was. Okay. Oh, forget everything I said then. I thought he was in the tag league.
He is.
Well, we'll be previewing it, so we'll see. But so if that's the case, then hell,
there's a sense of you don't need to throw this guy in a World Tag League. We all know what there are better ways to use him.
Now he can do a match with. He'll have a match with Oscar too.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Although I guess maybe he wasn't technically on the roster when he made that declaration earlier in the year, so that could be your.
I'm not necessarily sure he's having a match with Finley before he's done that kind of thing. Yeah. But and then if you get to check off all the boxes of the War Dogs, I don't think so. But
did he have a match with Finley this year? Gabe Kidd.
Yes, I believe they did.
Oh, that might have been. Oh no, that wasn't.
They had a match in the summertime, I believe.
Okay.
Because Gabe Kidd was I'm so glad I got to have it. He was crying in the ring.
Oh, that's
they definitely had one.
Earlier. So and he's even doing matches in other companies. Heck, for all we know, he might have a match with Nakamura on Noah's show.
Yeah. So I didn't tell you this, but we both know somebody who worked for Noah, and I was like,
oh yeah.
I should go to this show, shouldn't I? And he's like, yes, you should.
Okay.
And so I went ahead, and I know a guy in Japan that has nothing to do with wrestling, but does like wrestling. And I was like, hey, this might be the case. Do you want to buy the tickets and I'll pay you back? Because I tried to go onto the Noah website. I tried to do a bunch of different things, and it was difficult. And I was trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. And he got the tickets, and I think they're ringside tickets for the Noah show. And the tickets are going to end up costing about $150 a person, but the ringside for the New Japan show was at least $750.
Both of those are a bargain in my opinion.
Absolutely, but even if like they advertise Tanahashi for this Noah show at I think Budokan, it's not going to make nearly as much money or get nearly as much press as that retirement match. So it's a net win for everybody involved if he ends up booked on that Noah card. But it's already going to have some of the WWE talent. It's going to have some probably interesting matches on there already. It's on New Year's Day. I don't know what else I have planned when I'm in Japan for New Year's Day. So it's like, screw it. Miguel Ruby and I and Pete Cooper, we're all gonna go to the Noah show, and on January.
At the very least, you got to think Nakamura is going to be there.
That's the prevailing idea.
Whether or not he's actually on the card or wrestling Tanahashi, like he's going to be there. I mean, he's going to be at the Tokyo
with them
Dome
together.
Yeah,
against Kenta and Marufuji. You could do a tag with both of them on other side where you have Kaito Kiyomiya and Tanahashi versus Keno and Nakamura, which actually would be kind of fun. You can do a whole bunch of different things.
Nakamura and Tanahashi against Hank and Tank. Let's go. No, I'm just kidding.
That would actually blow my mind.
Yeah.
The thing is, if that happens, that's going to cause some problems. And it's going to be because people are going to ask questions about Nakamura. Well, why aren't you doing this match in New Japan? And then whatever people spin about what's happened here or what's happened there, we're going to get a whole lot more clarity because an opportunity will be provided to ask a question in an appropriate forum in which AEW doesn't necessarily have any control over what the answer is going to be. So if there were weird dealings with New Japan and AEW and partnership being decided that somebody didn't feel comfortable with a talent from another company working, even if all stars aligning would have worked out the best, those questions could be asked and answered without Tony Khan having any power over who's asking and who's answering those questions. And I think if that happens, it's going to be real interesting.
I kind of look at this more, and maybe I'm just looking at it with rose-colored glasses, but I feel like it's probably more like New Japan didn't even bother asking because they knew what the answer was going to be. So, it's, and then they just determined, like, is this really worth pissing off Tony Khan? Let's just not even bother asking. But then again, I may just be naive, and maybe they did ask.
There were definitely negotiations.
Okay.
It was definitely closer to happening than a lot of people realize. The partnerships that were already in place prevented an approval of this happening.
There you go.
And however that wants to be interpreted, the loyalty that the company, and that is at the top level, I would imagine, said,
above
hey, we are already partners with this company. This is not how we do business. This is the decisions that were made years ago, and we need to stick to it. And if you want to find another solution to how you're going to make this happen, that's fine. Go find it. And I think that's where we may end up going, is that, you saw those backstage comments if you watch those backstage comments, I mean,
yeah, no,
Tanahashi was asked all of these questions, like, is this the guy that you wanted? Like, and he kind of hemmed and hawed, you know, like he kind of explained that like there are people that I want to face, and there are things that there's unfinished business. Do I have regrets? Yes. Or are there things that I would have done differently? Yes. I look forward to Okada. I will require all my strength to prevail one last time. All of these things. There were reports out there that, you know, he named AEW, but you got to be careful about what these translations.
Yeah.
Between like Grok and AI and native translators. It's not just a one-to-one what people are translating, what you see on Twitter or Blue Sky or Reddit or Facebook about what a Japanese wrestler said about something, and then getting the telephone translation of it. Not as reliable as most of us are led to believe. So
I mean, I just think it's pretty clear. Like if you go back and look at all the comments Tanahashi made over the last 3 months, and you know, like they all point to Nakamura.
yes.
You know, like you know, and so Okada definitely, like I'm not disappointed. Don't get me like I'm happy to see Okada at the Tokyo Dome. Like you're gonna be front row to see Tanahashi and Okada. Like that's amazing. You know, so that you know, there's no complaints there. But is it what Tanahashi wanted? I mean, I think we know the answer to
that. Yeah. So
yeah. But this was an excellent compromise.
Okada, calling Okada a fallback plan is problematic because Okada is one of the best wrestlers in the world. And when you were watching that show, you saw the reaction that crowd had. Yeah. Tanahashi is doing the 4th round of his guitar air playing. He's telling the crowd he loves them. He's about to wrap it all up. And you hear that coin drop. And you hear this audible gasp in the crowd. Like, oh, it's happening. Or, oh my God, I can't believe it. Your interpretation of
I heard it more the latter. Like it was like, right. Really? Like, you know, like, okay, we're getting a video, right? No, he's here.
It was the shock.
Yeah.
You know, like they all looked up and they all like looked in one direction, think he was coming out the exit way. And then you look the other way, and there he comes out, and he's dressed in all black, and Ghetto's wearing Okada. The beanie, and he is doing his damnedest to hide the smile. Like he came out there, and he's just like he's trying to keep that little scowl, that little disdain. But you could hear the Okada in that native voice. And he comes up there, and the moment he's allowed to smile in that ring talking to Tanahashi, he gives the biggest shit-eating grin. You can tell he's really enjoying the moment. And say what you will about whether you wanted Nakamura or Okada or whatever. The match is going to be great. Okada is going to do nothing less than brilliant being in the main event at the Tokyo Dome in the largest crowd that he's probably ever going to be in, main eventing this show. If you think he's phoning it in, I got news for you here. That ain't happening. And Tanahashi is going to have the reaction of his life. And then afterwards is the real end of the show. And it's going to be that retirement. You know, we saw the Sumi Sakai retirement at New Japan Pro Wrestling at Battle in the Valley this past year. Nobody is going to tell you what that match was about, but everyone will tell you what that retirement was. And
especially if you were there.
Yeah, it's all the pageantry. It's all about the pageantry. It's all about the Okada entrance. It's all about the Tanahashi entrance and the tears and the match and avoiding that final pinfall. And when that final pinfall hits, the tears and everyone realizing it's over. And then whatever they have planned for after that. And like you think about it now, it's almost like it's frustrating what happened to get to this point because of the things that seem to have gotten out. If Nakamura's negotiation had never gotten out and we were all blissfully unaware and we just got Okada, no one's going to have this sense of like, oh God, we could have had Nakamura. that kind of thing. It just, because the possibility was introduced, all of a sudden people just were unleashed with a sense of wonder and possibility. And once that was taken away, that was ended up being the reaction, was something that you'd hoped was possible was no longer there. And that is kind of a personal problem.
Well, and you said you didn't listen to Garrett and I, so his take on this, and I can definitely see it. I think that a lot of the people that are upset or disappointed is probably a better word, that it's not Nakamura. It's not so much that they prefer to see Nakamura versus Tanahashi as opposed to Okada versus Tanahashi. Number one, it's the idea of that true forbidden door, where you're getting a match that there's no pot. You're getting WWE versus New Japan in the Tokyo Dome. And so that's that. And then there's also a subsection of people, and it's a pretty large subsection of people that would just be happy that everyone's fucking with Tony Khan, pardon my French. And so in that sense, a lot of the noise you're hearing is people that don't like Tony Khan, and we're hoping that New Japan and or WWE would work together to piss him off. And so I think that is also part of it. And so for me personally, like I said, there was 3 names: Okada, Nakamura, and Omega. If it was any one of those 3, I'd have been happy. So I'm happy. I have zero disappointment that it's not Nakamura. It would have been great if it's Nakamura. It's awesome that it's Okada. 6 months ago, and you know this because people were asking you, and when they knew you were going to Japan, they knew you do this show, and they were asking you, "Oh, it's going to be Okada, right?" And you're like, "No, not a chance." Like you said that. I can go back and listen 6 months ago, because we didn't think Okada was going to go back to the Dome this quick. So it is a big deal that Okada is going back to the Dome. No, if I'm wrong, correct me.
No, I'm trying to think of the context that
it may be longer than 6 months or shorter. Like I don't
well,
know the time frame, but I know that
my,
came up.
My discussion, I remember being very against the idea that Okada would return last year, because it had been just a year away from him leaving, and it wouldn't have meant anything for him to come back last year. The only way that I saw Okada being valuable this year was as a Tanahashi retirement, but I wasn't sure if they were going to go in that direction, or if they were going to go with a younger guy, like to put a younger guy over.
Well, I wasn't like a year ago. I think we thought it was going to be Shibata.
Yeah, I wanted it to be Shibata, or at least he was going to be the guy at Forbidden Door. Like if they were going to finally knock out Shibata at Forbidden Door, but they ended up just calling it good with the Wrestle Dynasty match that they had at the Tokyo.
Well, I think they weren't happy with how that went.
I mean, any opportunity like that those two managed to get in the ring, virtually impossible for him to get into a New Japan and New Japan alone ring.
Mean, who are the other? I suppose the other dark horse, and I would have been disappointed with this, although I'm sure the match would have been great. It could have been Nagata. That would have been.
It could have been Nagata. It could have been Ibushi. It could have been Naito.
Yeah, Naito. Yeah, Naito would have been. Yeah, in fact, there was a time when you thought it was going to be Naito.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that
my short list was before Ibushi got injured. Before I was really not sure what Omega's life was like. It was Okada was number 1, Naito was number 2, Omega and Ibushi were outside, and I gave Nakamura a 5% chance.
So that was kind of where I stood. Are you talking your preference or the likelihood?
No, that was what I was talking about, like the likelihood of what was going to happen. Okay. Probably between May and June, because at that time I had known that when WWE and New Japan were working out the deal with Jeff Cobb, because you remember, like he was just pulled off of a card, and New Japan was incredibly conciliatory to make whatever they want happen. That was all to smooth the road to potentially negotiate for Nakamura.
Gotcha. And then I think it was about a month ago when like rumors behind the scenes started to pick up about Nakamura. Yes. And part of that was we didn't even know the contract status. So it was possible that he wouldn't even need WWE permission to do the show. But obviously he must still be under contract, because otherwise I'm sure he'd be doing the show. So whether or not, he's under a no compete, I'm pretty sure they probably got him for, next year, or at least the first few months of next year. Nobody knows, because with injury time and everything, like, you never know with WWE contracts. And the other thing is, like, I don't think Nakamura is terribly interested in leaving WWE. Like,
why would he?
Oh, exactly. Like, he loves
if
his
he
life.
can come back and wrestle a big match in Noah whenever he wants, like, which he's got carve out to this contract. The only reason he'd want to come back to New Japan at this point would be to, like, see off the era that he had.
Right. But he's not going to make anything close to what he's making in WWE in Japan. And he's going to be working more for less money. And he probably likes his life in Florida.
He likes to surf. And
is that where he's Florida, or is it California?
I think he's in Florida. Yeah. He's in Florida and he likes to surf.
I ran into him at Mania a couple of years ago and talked to him for a minute. And just seemed like just the nicest, happiest dude.
I mean, the only thing that I could see happening for him is that he, finishes out his career in WWE and he goes back to Japan to help build a next generation. You know, like that, where he's committed to, like, taking what he knows and creating, like, the next generation.
But he could easily do what Shibata did and do something similar in the US.
Yeah, he could. Like, he's a wealth of knowledge, and the talent that he has come across in his life is so unique. Like,
between the MMA and the wrestling and the generations, like, he goes back to Muto and even Inoki. And and then passing through, like, Josh Barnett and Suzuki, and, like, it's incredible.
He is more of an asset that people realize, and the fact that he is just living his best life in WWE. Like, I know people don't like WWE, but whenever these wrestlers who have just absolutely destroyed their body get paid a ton of money and their schedule gets a little bit easier, I can't help but think people like that.
No. As much as we would love to see him on these big Japan shows, he's living his best life. And every once in a while he shows up in WWE, and I'm happy. He just had a match on Monday that was maybe the best match on the show. No, not the best, but really good.
So Brad said here, Naito said that he was approached originally as a possible opponent for Tana, and then he got ghosted. And then he said that's the final reason why he's not coming back. That makes him sad. I am not necessarily sure that that's going to be the final, like, thing that Naito never comes back. That dude lies a lot, but if it is, and he is indeed, like, that was the straw that broke the camel's back, that is a shame. And honestly, New Japan could be better with communicating with their talent. There have been instances in the past of talent that is not at the Naito level just being told that their services aren't needed unceremoniously. So it happens at all levels of this company sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. Guys, we are running a little long here, and Paul's got 90 minutes, so we're going to skip over the Ishimori thing. And if you guys want to check that out, you can go to NJPW 1972, where Ishimori survived one more ridiculous show in order to get his match with Dragon Kid. And spoiler result on that one, did he get his result with Dragon Kid?
He did. He beat him.
He beat him with the bone lock in 4 minutes. He
wrestled a total of 10 matches, 67 minutes in total.
I was trying to find the numbers. Thank you for grabbing that for me.
Yeah. I just did some quick math, so I may be a minute or two off, but give or take a minute, 67 minutes. Yeah. Some of these matches, I don't recognize the names, but sometimes they go by different names.
Tanahashi was on the show.
Yeah, I saw that. And he wrestled Ishimori. Beat him in 4 minutes, 46 seconds. Masato Tanaka was on the show. That's cool. In a Respect Rambo match. I assume Taiji Ishimori was the last guy eliminated by Tanaka.
I would assume so as well.
Yeah.
And then the match lineup for the Purge Night of Torture. Are you ready for this? We have one match for this 22.
Oh, is this that 2-hour match?
No, it's a 30-minute time limit match, but they've literally only announced one match for this show. And that is Ren Narita and Dick Togo versus Anjo and the Great Sasuke.
Wait a minute. Is this the NJPW Night of Torture?
Yeah.
On November 19th?
Yes.
Okay, I'm looking at a lineup that has 3 other matches.
Oh, great! Because on the actual schedule where they have the match listed, they've only got one.
Now maybe this is wrong. This is pure cage match, but it's got Hip Togo versus Dick Togo, and Milano and Sonata cornering each guy. And then we've got Ikuto Hidaka, Masato Tanaka again, and Tomohiro Ishii. Well, I guess that's not happening. Against the House of Torture. So Chase Owens, Don Fale, and Noshinobu Kanemaru. So maybe we'll get Taichi instead of Ishii.
I have not seen any of this anywhere, and I can't wait to see this happen.
Hanzo and the Great Sasuke against Dick Togo and Sho. That's the match you mentioned, right?
Yes.
And this one sounds amazing in a way. Evil against Shun Skywalker.
That is right. That match is happening.
Yeah, so
I knew that would happen.
I am not paying for this show, but I'm very interested in the results.
No, we're gonna do Steven's thoughts on the World Tag League next week, and we'll be talking about whatever this was.
Yeah. So that's the when does the Tag League
that will air on Wednesday? That will be available to watch Wednesday morning.
Yeah,
and then the World Tag League starts Thursday morning.
Okay, so a week from today.
Yes. By the time our show airs in a week, one night of the World Tag League will have happened.
All right. Yeah. So, so I haven't even really had a great look at the teams. There's one team in particular that I'm morbidly curious about, but other than that would of course be Desperado and that dude that he's teaming with that I've never seen, but everyone won't stop talking about.
Shuji Ishikawa or something like that.
Yeah. Shuji, as Filthy Tom calls him. So but I'm just, I think I'm hoping this tag league is gonna be better than the junior one. I can't imagine
it has to be.
Yeah.
Like it absolutely has to be.
Yeah. Well, it is more of a traditional tournament too. Like this junior tag league was like, I've never seen a tournament like this. It was like it was done in a week, and it was just.
I felt like I've seen low effort like this in WWE back in the Vince McMahon days.
Well, and then we've got these AEW tournaments that get announced and they start and we never know when they're going to end. And
my kingdom for a bracket from one of these Western promotions before and everything.
Well, the bracket, we got brackets. We just don't know when any of the matches are going to happen.
Well, I mean, we got that John Cena tournament that they, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, because I don't think they even know.
They're just making it up if they go. And
exactly.
When we have
what a great Classic, name. Well, we'll tell you next Friday. What? Sorry.
We have the Continental Classic, and they frequently don't tell you what match is happening between what people. No, because they just don't know if the people are going to be healthy.
You got a week and a half left, and there's still everyone's got 3 matches left, and then all of a sudden, Collision and Dynamite, everyone's wrestling 3 times.
They're loaded on December 18th, December 17th. Dynamite suddenly has 5.
That said, those tournaments are always awesome, so I can't wait.
They are. Yeah. My guess actually is that the Continental Classic is going to be Okada versus Takeshita in the finals for that title, and Takeshita wins. But the political compromise because in AEW you have to get the wrestler's approval to win. Otherwise, Miro and Aleister Black or whatever would have done more losses. So how do you get Okada to agree to that other than make sure that he gets the main event Tokyo Dome win while Takeshita is working in the semi-main?
See, and my thought is the opposite. I think that it is Okada Takeshita, but Okada wins. And that was the concession for Tony Khan to allow Okada to do Tokyo Dome is that I get to beat Takeshita on my show while he's New Japan champion, while he's IWGP champion. So we'll see. One of us, I think, will be right. I'm pretty sure that is the finals. I can't imagine anybody else in the finals. But
the thing for me is, like, they should absolutely have Yota Tsuji win at Wrestle Kingdom.
Right.
Against Takeshita. I don't think that's the plan.
Well, it depends what the plan is post Wrestle Kingdom. Is Okada just there for one shot, or is he going to be?
He's just there for one shot.
Well, then I don't really see the point of Takeshita winning, but it might happen.
Takeshita isn't there for one shot. He'll be there.
No, I know.
And I'm not sure, but the television executives at TV Asahi, they love him. They think he's Inoki reborn.
Okay, because I'm just listening to the fans, and he doesn't seem to get that reaction.
That is a complete disconnect. That's the problem between the TV executives and the people in, like, making the business decisions, and the response from the fans is that they see that this guy is immensely talented, but they're not making the connection. The fans are rejecting him because he's not on every tour, because he's not working every night.
Tsuji isn't quite at that level in terms of the fans either. But he is closer than Takeshita.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm having a really hard time envisioning Yota Tsuji at Wrestle Kingdom holding both titles when he's never really won the IWGP. I feel like him holding the IWGP with that title alone is the moment that needs to happen. And him holding two of them feels like skipping some steps, and he hasn't even won that other one. But if you think about it the other way, where you have Takeshita holding both the IWGP and the Global, it doesn't quite sound so far-fetched when you think about if he skipped some steps or not, because he hasn't. He's won that title, and he's had.
Well, the other part of that then is if Takeshita is going to win, and this may be our clue. If Takeshita is going to win both those titles at the Tokyo Dome, then he's probably not winning the Continental Classic, because I can't imagine him having 5 belts.
Why? Because Mercedes Moné having 11 doesn't
matter.
Just
the other thing, you got to think about AEW storylines too, and Tony Khan. It feels like Takeshita is going to be out of that Callis family probably by the end of that.
Yeah, he could totally get screwed by Callis to lose the tournament.
And the way that Tony books, the baby faces don't shine at the beginning of feuds terribly often. So he would be coming off a loss, and then he'd eventually probably beat Okada for that Continental title or the Unified title or whatever it is.
So this does lead into one main frustration that I have with the whole New Japan AEW relationship. It's that these are all really good and interesting plans. But these are plans that benefit AEW, and I'm trying to figure out how in these plans, when you coordinate with Takeshita, and you coordinate with Tanahashi, and you coordinate with Yota Tsuji, and you coordinate with Okada, how do these plans benefit New Japan? So you need to book out World's End to benefit AEW, at the same time booking out New Japan, Wrestle Kingdom, to make sure that it benefits New Japan. And that's the part that I feel is the huge disconnect between the people in charge, is that they are not aligning their own priorities with what they need to, rather than making sure that, either their partner is ameliorated or like appeased, or compromising something they really shouldn't be compromising.
Well, I get the sense that Tony Khan obviously cares about AW, that's his baby, but I'm not even sure that he would even know what's best for New Japan, let alone act in their best interests, because I don't think he's following that product currently terribly closely.
He's involved
I can't see how
in
he would
all
even
these
have
promotions.
Yes,
right?
Yeah,
and it makes him a very powerful man, like arguably more powerful than any single person in WWE. WWE as an entity is incredibly powerful, but as an individual, Tony Khan is potentially the most powerful person in pro wrestling.
Let me ask you this, Jeremy.
Yeah.
who is New Japan's number one partner?
Is it AEW? Probably.
I would say so, yes. Who is AEW's number one partner? I think the answer is not New Japan. I think it's CMLL right now.
Right now it is, yeah.
Yeah, so there's your problem right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
the priorities Japan, are completely stunted.
Their New Japan's relationship with AEW is way more important to them than it is to AEW. Because AEW has CMLL that right now is Tony's, whatever you want to call it, shiny new toy, favorite child.
Well, called symbiotic relationships. AEW is feeding off of what these promotions have to offer and sucking them dry in a lot of ways.
But it's a lot easier to work with CMLL
the
way Tony does business, because he runs shows on Wednesday and Saturday, and New Japan runs CMLL runs their big shows on Friday. It's a quick plane flight from Mexico City to wherever Tony is. I mean, even to get to Toronto, they were able to do it, and that's a long way. Japan is a whole other animal, and then they seem to work together well. CMLL doesn't seem to mind having their people beat on Tony's TV, and they seem to love putting Tony's talent over on their big shows. So,
I'm not even necessarily sure that things are going to be all that smooth in light of Ishii getting injured, because that messed up some plans.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he was a big part of the tag league.
Him getting injured in a random match on a collision on a Saturday night that he really didn't need to be in, and messing with like long-term plans. A dislocated shoulder, he's probably out for 6 months.
And he's also 48?
Yeah, this is right.
Yeah, like you never know when that's going to be the last one. Like I mean, he'll never retire, but like his.
But are we getting brain busters? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, like you said, it was a match that was probably announced, on, in the last 2 minutes of Dynamite for a collision that nobody watched.
Right.
And then he got injured. So, I mean, it's a great match. She and Pac love it, but yeah, it had zero purpose. Although I imagine it probably was originally going to be leading to blood and guts. Like she was maybe going to be in that match.
Hopefully, but
yeah,
still, like
but even that, know,
at any point, like you're using this guy and you're putting him in situations where like his home promotion can't use him. That's just one more drop in the bucket of things that you kind of need to make right, rather than like say, oops, sorry.
Well, to be fair, I mean, they didn't need him at the time he was being used by AEW, but he got injured and now it screws up future plans. So, and that could have happened on a New Japan show just as easily. So, it's not like he's reckless.
If there's a chance to get rid of that strong title anytime soon, that's not happening either.
No, at least they got the tag belts off them.
Yeah. TJP and Templario.
I do love that team. I absolutely love that team.
TJP and Templario?
No, well, I actually like that team too, but Taichi and Ishii. I love that team. Yeah.
And they were supposed to be a tag team here. Now we got Kojima instead. They're making a story out of it, and
Kojima. Hey, Kojima could be in the Hall of Fame tomorrow. I have my doubts, but it could happen.
I don't think he will be, but
I voted for him. I voted for him in 10.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I did not. I think I voted for Hayabusa. I'm just saying I voted for Hayabusa because I don't.
I voted for Hayabusa and Zach and Tenkoji. I think those are my 3.
Okay. I did Zach. I did Hayabusa, and I don't know who else. And let's see here, buddy.
We'll all find out tomorrow. Oh, okay.
Io Sky.
Oh, okay. See, and I considered Io, but I feel like if I had voted for her, it would have been more about WWE than Japan, and I don't feel that her Japan case is strong enough to be in the Hall of Fame.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. All right, let's run through the World Tag League lineups for you, just so you get an idea. But for the last few minutes here, anybody have any comments or anything that they want to throw in here before we shut it down for the day? Get it in soon, because Paul and I are on a timetable here today. In the A block, we got 8 teams with 3-time champs of the past, Bishamon, starting off the block. We have Toru Yano and Bolton Oleg, who were a tag team last year in the World Tag League, reuniting again this year. We also have Yota Tsuji and Gabe Kidd in an odd couple pairing, which just makes you feel like this is more of a bucket list thing for Gabe Kidd to do before he goes, rather than, establishing a long-term direction or anything like that. Yota Tsuji already got his planned match. Who knows what Gabe Kidd has planned, if anything else, for Wrestle Kingdom. But the fact that he's already got something on the dance card makes me think that you guys are one of those gonna come close but not quite win it in the tournament. We also got a gonna come close but not quite win it in the tournament in regards to Evil and Don Fale, who are going to proceed to pretty much stink up every match that they are going to have, but we're all going to try and say that it's all right. We're going to see how that one goes. The replacement for Tomohiro Ishii is Satoshi Kojima if he joins Taichi for their reunion in the World Tag League. We have Desperado and Shuji. I had the name.
Ishikawa.
Shuji Ishikawa. And he is the former All Japan Triple Crown champion, and it is his both the first World Tag League for both men. Shuji really wanted to be in this tournament, and Desperado wanted to find a really huge guy to be his partner, and that is the logic for them partnering together.
Is Desperado's the only guy that's in this tournament and in the World Tag?
No,
the junior one. Oh, Hiromu as well. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got Shingo and Drilla Maloney, who, if you remember, had a series of rivalries in which they exchanged wins and losses with each other throughout the year. Now that they have bled together, they are going to make other people bleed, which seems to be the plan for these guys. And then we got Yujiro Takahashi and Chase Owens, I believe, rounding out the pack here.
Spoiler alert, 0-7.
I actually think they might win 2. And it's just kind of one of those spoiler, like, oh, yeah, we got to make the math work. I think we're going to get a whole lot of heat when these two end up beating Gabe Kidd and Yota Tsuji.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
You could have said it. You're like, oh, yeah, that too.
Well, they could beat Yano and Bolton, I suppose.
They could. They're probably going to win 2, but the 2 that they win is going to be consequential to somebody trying to advance. And there are going to be 2 teams in both blocks that advance. So there'll be the winner of A and the second place of B.
I already have my picks ready, but I'll wait.
Do you really? Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. All right. So we got the B block here with the reigning champions, Yudo Ice and Oscar, which seem like strong favorites to move forward. We got your favorites that you mentioned earlier, Zack Sabre Jr. and Ryohei Iwa, who are coming back for a second time around and should be considered as pretty strong favorites to do well in this tournament. Mm-hmm. We got Lance Archer and Alex Zane, formerly known as Monster Sauce. Really curious that these guys are back. Lance Archer is stand-in body number 5 for the Don Callis family, currently in AEW. Just when you need a guy to either hit or be hit, he is your guy and making a lot of money to do that. Yeah. So good for him. So he's coming back over here. I'm not sure if these guys are going to be baby faces or heels going into this. I'm leaning towards heel just because Lance Archer, but they could pretty much do anything they want with him in this tournament.
Yeah, they'll probably be whatever they need to be on that night.
Yeah. So next one we got is Tanahashi and ELP. They have talked about wanting to work together, and they're not going to.
Tanahashi is in the tag league. I was right.
He is in the tag league. I thought he wasn't, and he was.
Okay.
My cap tip to you, Paul. I cannot remember.
It was a pure guess. But no, I could have sworn, like I heard the lineup at some point. I could have.
I mean, this does help make sure that he gets to wrestle a few more people in the thing,
right?
But
yeah,
I couldn't remember for sure. But now that he's with the LP, I'm like, oh yeah, he totally is in this thing.
Limits the singles matches, but it does get him more matches.
He still gets to check off the boxes with the thing. My joke with this is that they should have a T-shirt with just 3 balls on it.
Yeah, sure.
All right, we got Shota Umino and Yuya Uemura. this team, I think, has the potential to do either incredibly well or completely self-destruct. And it's pretty much 50-50 on that one.
Yeah.
We got another odd couple for this block. Instead of Gabe Kidd and Yoda Tsuji, we have David Finley and Hiromu Takahashi, with Hiromu and Geto being thrown out and Finley being thrown in for the odd couple pairing. I think they'll probably do all right, but they're not going to be going too far in this tournament.
No. In fact, I would be shocked if they finished at the bottom of this group, but
middle of the pack.
Yeah. It's hard to say because Block B is loaded.
Like, Block B is by far like a more interesting block.
There's like 5 or 6 teams that could be in the top 2, and I think at least there's like three former champions, I think, or current or former champions. So yeah.
All right, and then we have Great-O-Khan and Callum Newman. I think we're going to see more of the Callum Newman mean streak. Mm-hmm. Maybe even trying to out Bullet Club with the viciousness. If they were smart, that's probably the direction that they should go.
The really interesting match, I think, as far as that goes, will be the match against Finley and Takahashi.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then rounding out this one is the final House of Torture team on the card, Ren Narita and Sonata. This feels like the team that you want to ignore, but maybe you shouldn't.
Well, this is the team where the matches are all going to suck, but the results are going to be important.
Yeah, like they feel like they'll be threatening on the final night because there aren't a whole lot of teams that you don't want to go forward that possibly could, and this kind of has that recipe for, oh, please, not these guys.
Yeah, so they're being like the third from the top and having a chance to advance. Yeah.
All right, A block. Who do you got moving forward?
So I've got my top 2, not necessarily in this order, would be Bishamon as one and Tsuji and Kid as my other.
Okay. All right. What about B block?
B block, I've got obviously the Knockout Brothers as one and Umino and Uemura as the other. And then I have both B block teams winning their playoff matches, and then those Knockout Brothers and Uemura and Umino in the final.
So
that's what it is. It's a crossover, right?
Yeah. So you have A and B versus A and B, and then you do that forward. What if you had Shota and Yuya beat them in block play and that be one of the losses, but Knockout Brothers advance and Bishamon ends up facing them, and that's how you get all of these different teams into like the multi-man.
Or even even if they do a straight tag, then you still have the Uemura Shooter and we gotta come up with a name for them, but Uemura and Umino with having a win over the champs, then they can do a match at like New Beginnings or something.
They need to be like the Storm Riders or something like that.
You got to get Storm in there.
Like the Heat Riders or
Shooting Storm.
The Shooting Storm. There you go.
Let's get that trending.
We could try. Let's see here. If the goal is to put the Knockout Brothers over at the very end, you want to have the strongest teams moving forward for them to beat.
Right.
So in my mind, this is the perfect opportunity to take what Bishamon has established with winning the tournament 3 times and then having this new team that's never been there before. Because they're talking, we're going to win it again because the people who won it last year, Hiromu and Naito, they're not here now. So it's our tournament to win. And when they don't, and it's the new team that does, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah,
and like maybe they win the whole thing, maybe they get eliminated, but at some point, I see those 2 teams at a collision course, and when that collision course happens, the Knockout Brothers should be winning.
Well, and under my scenario, I guess they would be like, either they won their block and Knockout Brothers were second, or the Knockout Brothers won and Bishamon was second in their block. And so they face in the semifinals.
Yeah.
And Tsuji and Kid, like I'm just looking at that group of teams and they just seem like I suppose it could be Taichi and Kojima.
I don't think it would be Taichi.
I don't think so either. Like, I'm just like, there's more X's against most of these other teams than there are. I really like Shingo and Drilla, but I feel like that is probably just leading to another match between those two at some point, as opposed to them being a full-time tag team.
Those two are interesting because I actually kind of see both of them as leading their own factions in 2022.
Yeah. Because Shingo is this alliance is not long for the world.
No. This is just to help speed along the destruction of all the factions in New Japan.
Yeah, and then get some younger names in there, because I think Callum will be leading a faction at some point, as we talked about earlier. So yeah, there's some interesting possibilities. But like I said, I think like there's way more interesting teams in that B block. But sometimes what it looks like on paper isn't what we end up getting. So it's, we could end up, hey, A block was the awesome group. I can't imagine it looking at the lineups, but anything's possible.
It's the story block, and B block is the work rate block.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
All right, Paul, we're wrapping up here. Go ahead and get all your stuff in.
Well, you talked about it. I do the takedown with Garrett. That is every Monday. So I'll be back with Garrett on this station Monday afternoon, evening, depending on when we decide to record. And then it'll be in the audio feed on Tuesday morning. And then Jeff and I will be back next Wednesday for the Dynamite show, recapping AEW Dynamite. It's a supersized edition. So we'll be doing our Full Gear preview, but we are not recapping Collision. So we will be on the air, right after Dynamite ends. We'll be going head to head with Collision, and that's fine because nobody watches Collision. So,
are you watching Full Gear live?
I don't know. Possibly. I'm caught up right now, so depending on how things go with this New Japan Tag League, I tend to try to watch everything in order.
Well, I need a co-host for the show.
Okay.
So if you do,
I'll let you
lock you in.
Okay. I definitely don't want to lock in right now. The other thing is Saturdays are my daughter has swimming, so it kind of messes up my day. But if I can finish everything during the day and I have time to watch at night, I will let you know, because it's Saturday, right? It's not Sunday.
I don't know.
I think it's Saturday. I don't think they do
during NFL season. I'm pretty sure it's Saturday the 26th.
It is Saturday because they're doing the tailgate brawl before the show. Yeah.
So well, if it works out, we'll talk about it offline. But if you said
I'll
yes,
let
then
you
we
know.
Plug it. Either way,
I'll let you know before next week, before your show next week.
I appreciate you, buddy. I might have a host by then. Who knows?
Okay.
I'm going to be actively looking. Thank you again, Paul. Thank you, everybody, for joining the show. We're going to be back next week with the first night of the World Tag League and whatever humorous purge details that we can get from purging our body of the House of Torture next week. Thank you again, Paul. We are going to be back next week, and thank you for joining the show.